One of the big reasons I wanted you guys on the show today is to talk about a conference that's coming up that is open to everybody. It's open to parents, which I think could benefit a lot from this. So I wanted to have you guys on to talk about that. And it's just around the corner. So let's talk about when, where, and what they can expect from this conference, Megan.
It's our second annual toolbox training that we're going to be hosting thanks to the generosity of a federal grant from Highway Safety and then also Harris St. Louis. It's going to be on Thursday, September 20th and Friday, September 21st at Harris St. Louis, actually. And it's focusing in on youth and alcohol. We're inviting educators, teachers, counselors, school resource officers, and parents, anyone out there who works with youth and could benefit from it. Again, it's a free training thanks to our generous partners, and we're inviting the community out. We are limited to 200 registrants, and we've got about 125 as of right now, with a great number of them coming in over the past 2 weeks with school starting back up. So if you're wanting to register, go to our website ASAP and get registered.
Now, throughout the event, walk us through some of the things that they will be able to learn and take from this and, maybe take back to their friends and their family.
I think we're going to start it off with social hosting, which is basically having a party at your house. A lot of parents don't understand, or they call it a rite of passage, that mom and dad go out of town and the kids stay home, and while mom and dad are out of town, they have a big party at their house. They are really opening themselves up to huge liability on that. If somebody leaves that house and gets into an accident or hurts somebody else, they're going to ask them, well, where were you drinking? Well, it happened at this house, and those parents are going to be liable for that. Parents don't understand that. We're a very litigious society now, and people are starting to sue everybody for everything, and that is, you're opening yourself up to that. We're also going to talk about the transition from high school into college, and this is why our audience is going to be primarily educators. What we're doing is we're explaining that these high schools are doing a fantastic job on getting kids the credits they need to go to college. They're getting them registered for college. They're helping them shop colleges. They're helping them get the financial aid they need. And then when they get to college, they don't know what to do with their new independence. So they're flushing themselves out their freshman year by binge drinking or getting involved in things that they shouldn't be involved in. Basically, they just don't know how to act with their new independence. So we're going to have a session called Talk About the Transition, where we're going to have to try to bridge that gap a little bit. We're also going to have a panel of students. We're going to talk to them about, we're just going to let 6 students, 3 college kids, 3 high school kids, take questions from the audience. Where could we have helped you? Where could we have done some sort of an intervention? What would have been the best time to reach you? We're going to have people from Washington University speaking. We're going to have people from St. Louis County Police speaking. We're going to have Phil Chalmers, who is leading authority on juvenile homicide. He's going to be one of our keynote speakers. We're going to have somebody speaking about social media from St. Charles Police Department. He's going to talk about how social media plays a part in all this, Twitter, Facebook, and things like that. Basically, this conference is going to be for educators, counselors, parents, anybody who has any opportunity to have any communication with a high school student, especially before they get into college. Just kind of hey, here's what they're thinking. Here's what we're thinking. We need to come together and try to work out this transition. 2 days, it's free. It's at a great location at Harris. So we're hoping to get some more parents out there right now. We've got a lot of people signed up, but we're hoping just to get one last push and get some more folks out there.
And where can they go to find out more information?
www.maddgateway.org, and it's maddgateway.org. There is a toolbox icon tab on the right. Click on that. It'll take you right to a registration page. You could register online. It's just that easy. If you have a problem with that, or if you aren't able to get through, call the office at 314-426-1595.
When you look at a lot of this, and I look back to my days of college and high school, peer pressure plays a lot in the whole part. Do you see more of that, Megan, or do you see less of that? More people standing up and saying, I've learned my lesson from organizations like MADD. I understand not to delve into this peer pressure, or do you see it even getting worse with the kind of society we have now?
No, I think it's improving as far as, people standing up. I mean, there's more programs out there. There's more education out there for our youth to learn about the dangers out there.
And kids are really looking to get behind things. They're really looking to get involved, and this is a great opportunity for them. This is one of the things that they can get on and say, we are not going to fall for this peer pressure. And not only that, we're going to go out and we're going to speak out against it, and we're going to convince other kids, their peers, to fight this peer pressure. Studies have shown that if a parent tells a kid not to do something, the chances are very slim. If an authority figure tells a kid to do something, very, very slim. But if a kid tells another kid to do something, the success rate is very, very high.
What about adults? And I'll start with you, Scott. With the state of the world right now, with the economy, people losing their job, do you see this drinking habit, or whatever you want to call it, almost rise to another level because there's so much more pressure on people to excel and provide for their families?
I think there's definitely a lot of pressure, economic, job-wise, and just the pressures of day-to-day. They are starting to mount up, especially now. Alcohol is the easiest thing to obtain. You can buy it at stores, but obviously, especially if you're of age, it's the easiest thing to get, and it's more socially accepted. I don't think you're going to see an average parent, say, go out and start smoking marijuana or using cocaine. They're going to do what is socially acceptable. They're going to go out and they're going to buy alcohol. So the opportunity is definitely there. I think the pressures mounting is going to make it worse. We're just hoping, sitting here today, that they just don't get into that car and drive.
What would be your advice to maybe a parent who's watching today, to their children? At what age do you start talking to your kid about the effects of alcohol? Because a lot of parents will say, don't drink, but then they're sitting on the couch drinking 10 beers a night on the weekend. The kids, they learn from what they see, not what they hear a lot. What would be your advice to a parent?
Just to, at any age, start the conversation. Have the conversation with your children. I mean, they listen to you more than you know, and they will take your advice. So at any age that you feel like is appropriate for your family, or if they're starting to get into middle school and high school, that might be the appropriate time. But just have the conversation with your children.
And actually, I'm glad you asked that question, because in this conference, we have a session called, a new program by MADD called Power of the Parents, which it's exactly that. We're going to explain to you or help you understand how to have that conversation, how to break that ice about any type of topic. But that is going to be a session of our conference. It's called Power of the Parents, how to have that conversation with your kids. We have plenty of literature on it. It's a new program by MADD. You can even go online and find it. It's a pretty big deal, and that is going to be one of the things we talk about at this conference.
Besides the emotional impact that you can cause on another family or your own family by getting in the car, drinking and driving and killing somebody, talk to us, Scott and Megan, about the legality aspect of now what's on your record, how it can affect your job, how it can affect your future.
Right, and a lot of my experiences with talking to teenagers, having previously been the education coordinator for our highway safety unit within our department, I talk to a lot of high school kids, and what they don't understand, one of the biggest misconceptions is that their record is going to be private. I can tell you that colleges now are doing background checks on people, so the legalities of it are going to haunt you, are going to come back and bite you when it's time to apply for colleges. I always tell the kids in class, if you got a high school kid over here that's exactly like you, and I've got you, and this kid has 0 DWI arrests on his record and you have 1, who do you think that college is going to take? And that kind of opens their eyes, it gets them thinking, at least I hope it does. But yeah, the legalities of it are always going to haunt you. So you can buy yourself out of it as best you can, and you can fight it as best you can, but it's going to follow you around on your criminal record. I think a lot of people don't quite understand that.
Megan, your thoughts on that, even as an adult with jobs and...
I was going to say with that, I mean, there are jobs, background checks, and I was going to say even with, a crash that happens and having a felony then on your record. And again, these crashes that happen, those who cause them, there's no intention behind it, but then after, you've got a felony conviction. So that'll have a major effect on you for the rest of your life.
What about social media? And I know that's part of what you're going to talk about, but you see people, they'll put pictures up of them on the weekends just hammered. How's that going to affect not only the short term, but the long term? Because those pictures, as they say, will never go away.
Right, you're right. They're going to be preserved in digital quality forever. Especially, Facebook and your average media, websites like that. You put that up there, it could potentially haunt you. Again, if I'm an employer and I have the right to do a background check on a potential employee, one of the things I'm going to ask them to do is, hey, come on in, sit down, log into your Facebook. I don't want to know your password, I don't want to know that, but I want to see what they're up to. I'm going to check their Facebook and see if it might be open. I'm just speaking on behalf as an employer. I want to know what they're getting into, because you can really kind of get a peek into their social life. Because unfortunately, in today's world, it's your social life that's going to get you in trouble in your professional life. And as an employer, no one wants to put up with that. No one wants to gamble that type of gamble. So yeah, you better believe that there's going to be some checking into your background, and that's going to be one of the first places they're going to look.
Megan, with the success of MADD through the years, what do you see for the future?
Hopefully a world without drunk driving. Again, this is a crime that is 100% preventable, and we're not trying to stop people from going out and having a good time and keep them from drinking. What we're trying to do is just to keep everyone safe and to get rid of, the fact that lives are being taken from something that does not have to happen. So hopefully we'll get there in the near future.
And what's the overall response of people who volunteer for your organization, who get involved and become part of it? I mean, is it a very positive experience for them?
Yes, I think so. I was going to say, a lot of our volunteers are victims themselves who have lost someone. And I think just kind of having a family there with people who understand their loss. I mean, we've had a lot of bereaved parents that have gone to different support groups, but they just feel like, especially the support groups that we hold in the St. Louis area, that they're very comforting to them because they have people who understand fully and completely what their loss is. But I think, as a MADD family, we're dysfunctional. It's a dysfunctional act that has brought us all together. And even with those who are just coming as someone who got outraged by something they heard on TV, it's a great family atmosphere where we're able to get together and make a difference.
Scott, as we wrap things up, let's touch one more time on the conference itself, where they can find out more information and how they can get involved.
First and foremost, register online, www.maddgateway.org. Click on Toolbox, fill out the information, hit submit. You can also call the office for more information, 314-426-1595. But it's going to be at Harrah's Casino on September 20th and 21st, which is a Thursday and a Friday. It's free. We're going to have free continental breakfast, free lunch, keynote speakers on both days. We're going to have vendors there. We're going to give away some prizes, and there's plenty of entertainment at the casino after each day if you'd like to go and enjoy some of the restaurants they have and some of the entertainment they have. But we'd really like to get a lot more parents to come out. We're going to have parents for the most part. A lot of professionals that we've invited are parents, but we'd like to get some different perspectives and get some other parents out there just to kind of see what we have to offer. I think they're really going to be pleased.
And Megan, your advice to take advantage of this free seminar?
Well, I was going to say yes, absolutely. Sign up and get involved and, come and check out what we have to offer. We're really excited about another successful event. And again, thanks to our federal grant from Highway Safety and also Harrah's St. Louis.
And Scott, from your professional side of things, say to the drivers about thinking about over the weekend getting in that car and drinking and driving.
Have a plan. What are you going to do if? It's just that simple. Just have some sort of a plan. Have a backup plan. What am I going to do if I've had too much? What am I going to do if my designated driver dropped the ball? How am I going to get home? That's all we want you to do.
And don't take a chance, right?
Exactly.
Don't take a chance. All right, Megan, Scott, thank you so much once again. maddgateway.org for more information. Thanks for joining us tonight here on News 20 on GTN. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.